Queer families are growing and raising kids is expensive. So, where can LGBTQ families grow and thrive personally and financially? Here are our top 7 most affordable and friendly cities for LGBTQ families. Of note, all of these do have a 100 on HRC's Municipal Equality Index. None of these cities are in states that have laws that permit discrimination in the adoption or foster care system. And all of them are in states that permit second parent adoptions, regardless of the genders of the couple.
That's awesome. So coming in at number 7 here on our particular list is Cambridge, Massachusetts. Now, Cambridge has really, really high median and average incomes. Unfortunately, that's a bit offset by the fact that it also has the highest cost of living on this list of 7, coming at 173.7% of the national average. But, Cambridge is a pretty sweet place to live and to visit. So according to niche.com, which is much of the source of the information on this list, they ranked it as number 5 for cities for all families.
Coming in at number 6 is Irvine, California. Irvine does have the highest rents on the list, coming in at $3,411 a month for your average 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment. It also has the highest home values, coming in at $1.3 million. But similar to Cambridge, Massachusetts, it has really high median and average incomes to help offset those costs. And niche.com ranked it the number 6th best city for families.
Coming in at number 5, we have Boulder, Colorado, from our home state. Now, Boulder has above average rents, home values, and cost of living, but it also has well above average median and average incomes. Starting to see a theme here.
Yep.
It's expensive, but the people are earning good money. Maybe that's kind of why it gets so expensive there. Now, niche.com did give it the 22nd position on its analysis for all families. You're listening to or watching Queer Money episode number 521. And obviously, we're continuing our most affordable LGBTQ plus friendly city series in all different shapes, sizes, and packages. Today, we're sharing the top 7 most affordable and friendly cities for LGBTQ plus families because we know more and more queer families are growing more and more queer babies.
Yep.
That's how that works, right? Last week, we covered the top 5 most affordable LGBTQ plus friendly cities for those who like the outdoors.
And you can find that right up here. The mission of Queer Money is to financially empower the LGBTQ plus community. Join us in thanking Capital One for supporting that mission. All right, coming in at number 4 is Chicago, Illinois. What Chicago does have below the national average home values, coming in at $291,000 for your typical home sold recently, which is a really important thing, I think, for individuals who are wanting to start a family. Oftentimes, when you start a family, you want a larger space for your kids, and so homes are an important asset for those who are wanting to start a family. It does also have above average median and average incomes.
Pretty cool. So now we're coming into the home stretch. Coming in at number 3, we have Syracuse, New York. Now, Syracuse has one of the cheapest places on our particular list of 7 for LGBTQ plus families to live and thrive. It has the second lowest rents, coming in at $1,338 per month for your average 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment. It has the lowest home values as well, coming in at $158,000 for your average property right now. It has the lowest cost of living as well at 85.9% of the national average. So it's pretty awesome. That said, unfortunately, it also does come with the lowest median average incomes on this particular list, coming in at $55,000 and $69,000 respectively.
Yeah, I think that the last time we mentioned Syracuse and all of these stats, we were just saying it's low for everything.
Low. But that said, though, like if you think about it, this Syracuse might be a great place to exercise the geo arbitrage strategy. So if you have the opportunity to be able to live and work from anywhere in the world, say you have a job that's headquartered in California or New York City, more specifically, then you can also live wherever you want to. So live in Syracuse, you can really benefit from that higher salary that you get from where you're headquartered, and the lower cost of living that you get from living in Syracuse. All that much more money to help grow your family, but also to fund 529 plans if you want to send your kids to college, to pay off your home more quickly, or build a real estate portfolio, or just be able to funnel much more money into your retirement so that when you do decide to retire and those kids finally move out, you can thrive financially. Syracuse, however, did score 168th position on niche.com's list, which makes it the lowest ranking on our particular list of 7. Syracuse also, though, did score the number 5 position for the most affordable LGBTQ plus friendly cities when we covered blue states on episode 497 of the Queer Money podcast, and the number 2 position for the most affordable transgender friendly cities when we covered transgender affordability on episode 517 of the Queer Money podcast.
Worth noting, we did look at 150 cities when we are compiling our data. One of the major sources of information that we used was niche.com for its data that sourced information about what cities are great for families, and they looked at a variety of things. What we did with this particular analysis is we double weighted all of the variables that are having to do with being an LGBTQ parent, which includes, as we mentioned at the outset, not being a state that has laws that permit discrimination, and being a state that does permit second parent adoptions, regardless of the gender of the couple. And of course, we kept in our cost of living, incomes, housing data, as well as the information from HRC's Municipal Equality Index. If you want to look at all of that data for all those 150 cities, you can grab that at queermoneypodcast.com/cities. For most of these places, what you are going to see, as we've mentioned before, is that many of these are much more expensive than what you would normally see on our quote unquote affordability lists. And one of the main reasons for that is because these are cities, all of these are cities in blue states. And even US News and World Report, they ranked all 50 states, and we found that the top 10 most expensive states are blue states, and the top 10 cheapest states are red states. So these are all cities that are in blue states. And oftentimes, the reason why these areas are much more expensive is because they have really good school districts. And we know what happens with really good school districts. Then that means that there is a higher desirability to live in those neighborhoods if you are starting a family, which means the property taxes are higher, the cost of living is higher, and oftentimes with that means that the incomes are higher.
Exactly. So with that in mind, we have 3 honorable mentions for you to have some slightly lower cost of living cities. First is Boston, Massachusetts, coming in at number 10. Then San Diego, California, coming in at number 14. And then Denver, Colorado, coming in at number 16. So remember to smash that like and share button and let other queer folks know about this particular list, as well as this entire show, as well as finally, our friends over at helpusadopt.org reached out a couple of weeks ago to say that they're simply not getting enough LGBTQ plus applicants for their quarterly grants of up to $20,000 to cover adoption costs for all families. These are grants that help cover adoption costs for all families, regardless of ethnicity, gender and gender identity, marital or relationship status, race, religion, sexual orientation. Simply, there are no barriers and there are no additional fees. All you need to do is apply for a grant at helpusadopt.org, and you could be granted up to $20,000 to cover your adoption costs, which is huge. So let's try to max out and get as much of that money we can so we can grow our LGBTQ plus families.
Capital One Auto Navigator does more than just auto financing. We're here to help you find a car you love, too. Shop millions of cars from thousands of dealers nationwide. Research your favorite makes and models. Explore dealers near you and more. All on Auto Navigator.
Alrighty, coming in at number 2 is Columbia, Maryland. Columbia, Maryland has the highest median and average incomes on this list, coming in at a whopping $94,000 and $119,000 respectively. Otherwise, it is a little bit cheaper than many of the other cities on this list. It does have the highest list ranking on niche.com's list for cities for all families, coming in at number 4. And Columbia is a 25-mile drive from Baltimore. Baltimore scored the number 6 position for the most affordable cities for transgender friendly cities back on episode 517.
And now we have the winning position coming in from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Keeps coming up on our list as well.
Yep.
Pittsburgh has the lowest rents on this particular list, coming in at $1,333 per month for your average 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment. Has the second lowest home values as well, so more affordability to buy that home, that dream home, if you like, coming in at an average of $193,000 per property. The second lowest cost of living as well on this list, coming in at 94.7% of the national average. Now, Pittsburgh scored the first position, or the winning position, for most affordable LGBTQ plus friendly city. when we covered the state of Pennsylvania on episode 407 of the Queer Money podcast. And it scored the number 3 position for most affordable LGBTQ plus friendly city for blue states, which I forgot to mark down that episode number, but we said it earlier. So hit that back button and figure out what episode the blue states was.
All right. So what are your thoughts? Share them in the comments on YouTube, TikTok, or Spotify, wherever you're watching or listening to this episode. Again, if you want to see all 150 cities that we analyze, go to queermoneypodcast.com/cities.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One, NA, member FDIC.
Join us next Tuesday when we talk with U.S. House of Representatives candidate David Roth about how Project 2025 is designed to eliminate LGBTQ rights in America. And next Thursday, when we cover, trigger warning here, the 7 reasons why LGBTQ folks would stay in or move to a red state.
If you'd like to see the data for all this growing series that we're compiling, please go to queermoneypodcast.com/cities or click the link in your podcast player if you're listening on your podcast player, or click the link right here if you're watching on YouTube. Thank you and have an amazing weekend.